you mentioned the verbal barbs that Punk threw, and even throwing Hangman Page into it. Like, it's hard to control CM Punk when he's on the microphone, Tony.
Well, it's unresolved anger, I think, from the world title match at Double or Nothing, and we had not really tied up all those issues.
That is a great question, Coach. I don't know the thought behind that. The only thing I can tell you is that it's all in the mind of Tony Khan, and he comes up with all this stuff, and I can't explain it. I do work a lot closer with him now than ever before, so I'm privy to what he wants and his direction going forward. Why? A lot of times I just don't give a shit. I say, okay, yeah, it's fine.
Now, you're an interesting person because people, and unfortunately, people usually love you or they hate you, according to Twitter. This is Twitter. And how do you feel when you see an article about you that is missing all of the facts and are just tearing you apart?
Well, the standards for wrestling journalism are very mixed. There are some people that hold it to a high journalistic standard, and there's other people who post stuff that's just totally inaccurate.
Because he tweeted that I'm retired, do you think he's not going to be hands-on and he's not going to... It's not I don't think the culture there changes at all. You know, I think it is what it is. Mercedes and Trinity leave, and they announce on SmackDown that, gosh darn, we're so disappointed in them, and they really let our fans down. Mercedes and Trinity leave, and they announce on SmackDown that, gosh darn, we're so disappointed in them, and they really let our fans down.
Booker, head of creative.
See, because everybody wants to be the champ until it's time to do champ shit.
Yes, my cosmic brethren. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that Dynamite. That, you know, the fact that I talked about Dynamite. You know, I had the welcome back, and yeah, hopefully y'all had a little fun as I did having. You know, making that and talking about and digging a grave that very night. Last night, well, it still technically is night right now. But yeah, as far as AEW Dynamite is concerned, yeah, hopefully I did it. Hopefully y'all did enjoy it. Okay, now the topic at hand. You know, I showed y'all that clip for a reason. AEW's what's the favorite thing? One of AEW's cuckolds' favorite things they like to say. I can't ring around. I can't seem to get it through. Wasn't it like AEW is the best place to work with? That's what they said, right? You know, AEW is such a happy environment. You know, everybody's in love with each other. You know, we have no problems at all. Tony Khan is such a good human being. You know, he thinks about everybody else. You know, he doesn't have you know, such an obsession of an ego. You know, he's a people's man. He's for the audience. That's what they like to say, right? Y'all, you know, cosmic brethren, understand that when it comes to subjects like this surrounding AEW, just know that it's another day swimming in the cesspool that is AEW. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna read. We're gonna read what's going on before we jump right into it, and yeah, let's just see what's going on as of late. What happened? Okay, so looks like someone had reported that exclusively that Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara recently got into Oh, sorry, I'm close. Like, my apologies. So they had Kingston, between Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara, they had recently got into they got into it. They had a spat altercation backstage. So yeah, I'm guessing that this happened last night. We were told that Eddie is suspended after a dispute with Sammy Guevara that got out of hand. Kingston was in fact suspended in the wake of his altercation with Guevara. This led to the Mad King missing out on live shows and tapings also. And yep, he was secretly suspended. And talking that it may be over, but they were supposed to compete against each other at All Out, but yeah, that's not happening anymore, of course, because it would have just happened. And wow, yeah, this is very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, pretty much Sammy and Eddie, it looks like they got real heat with each other. And because I've seen my handful of if you want to be judging by the tweets, because I pretty talked a little bit. I think I have a little bit, not a full video, but when it comes to Sammy Guevara, when it comes to him individually, I remember seeing a tweet by him when he had said that I could care less about anybody's opinion, which is cool. Usually when somebody says that, they do, especially when they're posted on Twitter of all places. And he had the replies on hidden, not answerable. And so that tells you right there that he has a bit of a ego. It's like every time when I've seen also Eddie, when it comes to Eddie Kingston, it just seems like he's just ready, and he has a bitter heart, and he just has just on the ready. He just he wants to just fight everybody. He just looks super miserable. That's what he looks like to me. And I can only imagine backstage probably try to talk to him or just interact with the dude. He'd probably just look at you with the meanest fucking look that he can give, and he would he about to straight up just slog you. It's just like co-workers, or you work a job for a number of years, you see somebody else already at the top, or you see somebody on TV, especially TV, or when it comes to a top, it's very lucrative profession, and they've already been at that spot, and it's but you've been at it for 10 years, probably even 15, 20 years, and you haven't excelled beyond that. And just that, especially the promo between Punk and Eddie Kingston himself, especially when I think about it now, when he talked about how he had a lot to go through in his career, and he was just he's one of those guys that was the odd man out, and it's obvious that he has a lot of talent, and this definitely he has the potential to be his own thing, and it's he can come up with, regarding to himself as a character, his charisma, just anything. It's it just feels like he just wants to be. When I get the vibe about Eddie Kingston, it just feels he's just, I get it, but it's it's just no sense to be mad at the world, but that's most humans, man. I feel like they blame humans like they blame everybody else for their shortcomings. And then you have the thing where people, like I say, the tribalistic soy boys, they love so much, they love it. So like when it comes to AEW, like it's so the environment, everybody is like down with each other. There's no problems. No one has a problem. Tony Khan is the fantastic boss. It's the same thing with everything basically. Or like I said, I've had my suspicions, and I've heard plenty of times before about how much of AEW is such a fun place to work, and everybody loves each other even when they interact, and such a positive thing backstage. And Tony Khan is such this iconic and such this best booker, but the time that I've been watching him, starting in September of 2021, especially now, what is so great? What's so differentiate? What kind of standards of an impact? What kind of an impact that AEW has already brought forth, besides more indie wrestling? Like what kind of a precedent had they set? Like, what makes them so much more different than the indie scene? Then, what NXT once, was first, was, the big budget indie was. Like, that was what NXT was. That's what New Japan, that's what every other wrestling that's out there is, man. That's why WWE was so much different, because it was all about entertainment. It was all about characters and stories. And it's not just when you talk about the wrestling side of it. It's like way worse too when you get to the backstage, and just like the things that I've heard, whether it's Tony himself, and he's shown it blatantly. And for him to have, like I said, this is also just another prime example of just tribalistic, soy groupies of wanting to protect, the person that, even though that they've been caught red-handed numerous times, they could care less, as they, just as quick as they can get that, that quick suck up, they could care less, man. And, as long as they get noticed, that's fine by them. Everything slides. But that's the culture of AEW, and that's the culture of, their cesspool of a fan base. And it's not just when you talk about the wrestling side of it. It's like way worse too when you get to the backstage, and just like the things that I've heard, whether it's Tony himself, and he's shown it blatantly. And for him to have, like I said, this is also just another prime example of just tribalistic, soy groupies of wanting to protect, the person that, even though that they've been caught red-handed numerous times, they could care less. As they, just as quick as they can get that, that quick suck up, they could care less, man. And, as long as they get noticed, that's fine by them. Everything slides. But that's the culture of AEW, and that's the culture of, their cesspool of a fan base. And like I was talking before about CM Punk, of course he's not going to do anything about CM Punk. Like you had him preach about so many times before in the past about how WWE, which they are, but how about WWE was such of a corrupt conglomerate of just, having their favorites and, just relentlessly, remorsefully, without a, hesitation, just putting down other talent who was deserving of a spotlight, and how they treated him and how bad everybody he didn't like that was there. And it's like, when you get to AEW, it's like he's doing the exact same thing. And it's like, I've said also before also that AEW, they have people that don't like each other. Like I said, it's not perfect, at AEW. You have obviously too, like an Adam Page, Eddie Kingston. People don't like each other there. It's the same exact thing as it is with WWE. Obviously you're gonna have co-workers who disagree and don't get along and they don't like each other. So it's like, for people, obviously, it's tribalistic, how much of the groupies try to suck them off and try to say how much of a perfect place, because it's way more toxic. WWE obviously has it, but it's like AEW, they can, in their eyes, I don't know, because I just look at it as it's like a bunch of hyenas. As soon as you say something that they don't agree with, they will immediately attack you. But it's like, I guess with WWE, I've seen that, I guess whether it has to do with a wrestler that somewhat of the audience likes, or just something like that, you'll get called up. But it's like AEW is dialed up to 100. It's insane. And it's like, so you have this fight with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. It's like many things that, and on top of that, like I just mentioned, Tony Khan's behavior, and it's like, of course that's true. Look at what he's been doing. And then you got unhappy wrestlers backstage. You hearing, like I said, I like to believe stuff when it becomes true, but it's just bad enough. Like, I thought AEW was supposed to be this perfect place of where it was a fairy tale, but apparently not. You got CM Punk angering and, talking so much shit about Paige that, people picking sides. It's the same thing at WWE. It's no different. So, it's like this, like right here, because it seems like, because it's not only is it no structure within the wrestling side, because you have Tony Khan, you don't have the right people in place, obviously. Just look at his mindset. He doesn't even have the right people in each position to make to make sure AEW provides, and it's as it slowly gets better. That's why everything is just convoluted and just super effed up, because he's the only one that's doing anything, and it's like he doesn't have any help, and that's idiotic. And so, not just that, then you have, like I said, whether talent they're not happy about being there now, and it's like, you have other talent that's being featured more on the card than others, and they probably get jealous or mad about that, which is probably why this fight happened. Or, Eddie Kingston, he probably can just, he's always super grumpy, but it's like, it's very chaotic at AEW, so, like, this is why that AEW they have so many issues, because of everything is out of place, and people hate each other. Like I said, it's not perfect, but people like to pretend so. And this fight is no different.